Hi and welcome to Outdoor World Direct. Today we're going to take a look at the Outwell Knoxville 7sa family tent. The Knoxville is part of Outwell's Air collection. They have three collections of air tents. The first one is the Prime Air collection, which is the entry-level area. The second range, which this tent is part of, is the Superior Air collection, which is the premium polyester family tents. And then the top end collection is the Imperial TC collection, which is part of the polycotton ranges of tents. So the Knoxville 7sa has been upgraded for 2022. So if you're looking at this tent, there was a 2021 model which was 150 denier. This one is now a 250 denier Ripstop fabric. So the fabric is massively upgraded. It's about 4 times stronger than the entry-level Prime Air 70 denier that Outwell offer. So if you are looking through the ranges and wondering what the price differences are, a big factor in it is the durability of the tent, you know, the longevity, how long is it going to last, how is it going to perform in adverse conditions. And as you go up through the ranges, the denier and the thickness of the fabric just gets stronger. So with it being a thicker fabric now, it also has a bigger pack than the 2021 model. So the new model, the 2022, the pack size is now 100 centimeters by 51 centimeters by 51 centimeters, and the weight is 53.2 kilograms. So the Outwell Knoxville was voted the XL best family tent on the market in 2021, and it has again improved since. The Superior Air collection by Outwell, you get a lot of features that when you step up into that range, that premium tent range, that you don't get on some of the entry-level, lower value tents. So I'll run you through some of those features now and why this tent might be a little bit more at a premium price point as opposed to some of its competition in the market. So firstly, we have a power air structure. So it's a totally inflatable tent. There's only one pole, and that's a brow pole which goes over a door on the side. So the power air system, each tube is inflated individually, and you get bracer beams as well. So the individual inflation system is really simple, because if you do encounter a deflation, you only have to replace that one beam, and it's much easier than when you've got all the tubes interconnected. You've also got the bracer tubes, as I've mentioned. These just give the tent a lot more structure and strength in windy conditions. So with the tent being an inflatable tent, it's much simpler to pitch. It's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes as opposed to if it was a steel pole or something like that might take up to an hour. Also, you have a really popular free zone design, and what I mean by that is you've got 3 living spaces within the tent. We've got the open canopy to the front. You can enclose this door off to enclose this area. You then have the sewn in ground sheet living space, which is the main living space of the tent, which is a fully sealed area. You then have the bedrooms to the rear of the tent. A lot of other features that they've added quick and quiet door access. So the middle and the rear door into the bedrooms, they have magnetised strips so that you don't have to constantly keep doing up and down zips if you want to enter the tent noiselessly. This is really helpful if you've got young children and you want to check on them throughout the night without waking them up with the zips. So the Outwell Quick and Quiet is now on pretty much most Outwell family tents. The purpose of the Quick and Quiet is to reduce the amount of time that people are using the zips. So this is on both this door going into the tent, and it's on the inner tent doors as well. So Quick and Quiet, it's just a magnetised door. So if you open it up, it will close back up. So the idea of this is, again, it's going to stop using the zip. There's a secondary zip behind the magnet, so if you actually wanted to zip this closed properly, you can do so just by zipping the door closed, which will essentially render the Quick and Quiet access, you know, it won't work once you've zipped the door. So you do have both options there, but the Quick and Quiet is really helpful in terms of if you're in and out of the tent during the daytime and you don't want to be bothered to constantly keep zipping the door up, and you still want to seal the door from bugs, that's what Quick and Quiet's for. It's also great on the inner tent doors, because if you've got young children and you've put them to bed and you just want to quickly pop your head in and check they're okay, you're not having to undo loud zips to quickly check on them. You can just pop your head through the magnetised door, check they're okay, and then it'll just close up noiselessly. So it's just great noiseless access into the tent, and obviously of an evening once you go to bed and you actually want to zip it up properly, you can do so. So to either side of the tent we actually have some storage pockets. These are here to put things like flip-flops, lightweight magazines, that kind of thing. They're just going to add a little bit more storage area to the tent and make it a bit tidier, hopefully keeping this area clutter-free and the interior of the tent tidy as well. One of the great things about this tent is this door. It's really versatile. So we've already gone through that we've got this quick and quiet access down. The door also zips all the way, so you could actually totally remove this panel, which I'm going to do for you in just a minute, so you can see this will become one big open space if you want it to. The other thing that's great about this door is you've got a fold flat ground sheet, which is great if you've got prams. It's good if you've got wheelchairs and that kind of thing, because it's preventing tripping hazards, so it lies flat to the ground, but it also zips closed to the door, which gives you a fully sealed living space in this area. So taking a look at the Knoxville interior now, what you'll notice first of all is I've zipped away this partition middle door which separates the two living spaces. So this door's really versatile. You can either completely zip it back like I have now and leave this as one large open space, or you can zip it fully down and zip it to the ground sheet here to create a full seal. So this area can be fully sealed off from the elements and the bugs if you so wish, and it fully zips along the ground sheet at the bottom as well. This is really helpful if you have wheelchairs and prams, this ground sheet, because it sits flat to the ground, so we haven't got a tripping hazard, and also, you know, if you do have wheelchairs and prams, they're not having to kind of step over an entry point to get in. The side doors, which we've got two of, they are both what we would call a D door, which is like a step over door, so you have to step over them to get in. Both of the side doors are backed by mesh fly screens, and also they have a waterproof panel cover on the outside. So there's quite a lot of mesh in this tent as well. So we have two mesh doors, and within this panel door here there's actually two mesh windows as well. All of these have zipped privacy curtains on the windows, just to cover them off of an evening if you so wish to. So going back to the living space, we also have the bracer beams all the way throughout. So we've got 1, 2, and then we've got one above the sleeping compartment here. We have mesh ventilation points underneath the windows, and we have one over the doors here as well. You have hook track on each beam, which allows you to hang accessories such as lighting, as we've done here. That's really helpful for keeping wires out of the way, keeping the lighting a little bit tidier inside the tent. So you've got loads of versatile living space here. Most people typically might put a table and chairs in this area, or use it for storage of obviously clothing or your food. You've got full standing height throughout as well, and even in the sleeping space, even though the beam does drop off slightly at the rear, there's still full standing height in the sleeping space as well. So that's the living space. You've got tons of versatile space here. You've got a lot of mesh throughout the tent to help it breathe, because this type of polyester tent, it will suffer from condensation because it's very difficult for the moisture to get out of the tent due to the waterproofing that's on the tent. So that's why there's plenty of mesh been put in with 1, 2 doors and the mesh windows as well. It's just to allow an airflow and create an airflow through the tent, which helps to reduce the condensation. Also, it's really helpful in warmer conditions because it will get, you know, cooler air into the tent and create a breeze. So the last area, just to quickly point out in this tent, in the living space, is the 2 windows either side of where I'm standing now. We've got one to the left behind the projector screen, we've got one to the right here, both of which have zipped privacy curtains. Also, there is 2 mesh windows in this door, which we've zipped back and away. They also have privacy curtains on them as well. So if you have a window in this area, it's always covered by a privacy curtain, so of an evening you can completely make this area private from the exterior. Finally, to finish the interior of the tent off, we have the Ambassador Master Bedrooms. The Ambassador Master Bedrooms are 230cm depth, which is great for keeping camp beds in them lengthways. A lot of tents only have the 210cm depth, which means you can't get a camp bed in the way we've popped this one into my left here. Further to this, with the Ambassador Master Bedrooms, you get a much darker bedroom. So once this is all sealed and closed, it really does help to eliminate the early morning light. You also get a window panel here, which is actually made out of mesh, and that lines up to the mesh panel on the rear of the tent. So if it's a really warm night, you can open up the mesh fly sheet vent up on the side here, and then you can open this curtain as well, and that will give you some great airflow into this area to cool it down a little bit. It also obviously helps reduce the condensation as well. So we've got the 230cm depth, we've got the mesh panel to the rear. We also have 2 zipped dividers, so this is a 7-man tent, so we've got space to sleep up to 7 people here. Typically I would say it's probably ideal for 5 to 6 people for more comfort. So we have the 2-3-2 configuration, but you can actually make it into one large space or to make it into a 2 and a 5 space. So it's really versatile to how you want to set this inner tent up. So to quickly finish off with a couple of extra features that I've not mentioned that are part of the Superior Air collection, you get webbing straps to the front and the rear of the tent. The reason that the webbing straps are on the front and the rear is because this is typically the area that is most adversely affected by the weather, usually the wind. So they've put these tension straps on here to make it stronger, and they've put them on the rear of the tent also. The other thing that's great about this tent is it comes in a wheeled trolley bag. So with it being 53 kilograms, you are going to want 2 people to lift it in and out of the car, but the wheeled trolley bag really helps the portability of the tent, because once you've packed it down or you've brought it out the car to unpack, you can move it around using the wheeled trolley bag with less effort than having to carry it around. So just to take you through the optional extras that are available for the Knoxville 7sa, there's an optional footprint ground sheet. Now that fits the living space, the sewn in area and the sleeping area of the tent at the rear. So what you would do is you put the footprint down first and then you would pitch the tent on top of it. Now the footprint is really helpful for helping you to pack the tent away dry at the end of your trip. It's also prevents accidental damage to the ground sheet. So say you're on a hard standing pitch or something like that, a footprint is really important. It's probably the most important accessory for any family tent. The second one is the carpet, which is a flat woven carpet which fits into the living space wall to wall and covers that area. So if you're an early season camper or a late season camper when it's a bit colder of an evening, a carpet might be a good purchase for you because it will keep your feet warmer. The last accessory is the front awning, which is the universal awning size 7. That's going to attach to here and on the other side as well, obviously, and that will come out and create another front awning to the front of this tent here. Now typically this is a huge tent, it might not need a front awning, but if you want even more space you can add an extra front awning to the tent. So very quickly to recap the Knoxville 7sa Superior Air tent. This is the 2022 version. It's got the 250 Ripstop Denier, which is 4 times stronger than the Prime Air collection of family tents. We've got 6,000mm hydrostatic head, which is exceptionally high for a waterproofing column. We've got a trolley roller bag for easier portability. You've got a free zone design throughout the tent. You've got full standing height throughout, including in the sleeping space. You've got darkened inners with a deeper depth, so you've got more space in the sleeping compartment. You've got huge versatility throughout the tent in terms of living space and storage options. You've got a fully sewn in sealed ground sheet, which also zips closed to the doors as well. It's a great family tent. It's perfect for someone who is more of a regular camper. This isn't typically your first time camper's tent. Some people might buy it as their first time camper's tent, but I would say really it's more ideal for that camper who maybe is on their second or third tent, really knows their camping, knows what they want out of a tent, wants something that's going to be more durable, it's going to last them longer, it's going to be more comfortable, knows that they're purchasing something that's really an investment in terms of space, in terms of the pack size and the weight. You need to know that you can accommodate this in terms of, is there 2 of you to lift it in and out of the car? You can set it up and pack it down on your own quite easily because of the inflatable nature of it, but it's just the pack size and the weight of it that maybe need 2 people to lift it around. So as I've said, it's just perfect for that regular camper that wants a very durable tent in UK conditions. If you've got any questions, please do pop them in the comments. Thank you for watching today. Cheers.